It is always a treat for me when I have the opportunity to review a new planner. So, here in our planner review series today, I'm going to be reviewing the Peacefully Productive Planner brought to you by Hustle Sanely. My name is Megan Sumrell. I am a planning and time management expert for women, and I am passionate about making sure women have the right planning tools and systems in place so that they can achieve the work-life harmony that we all absolutely deserve to have. In this planner review today, I'm going to be first giving you kind of an overview of who is this planner marketed for, like the intended audience of it. We'll take just a quick look at the key components in here, and then I'm going to take us into a deep dive, looking at each one of the sections and kind of giving my feedback of where I see some great strengths or some, perhaps in some situations, some weaknesses with the planner. And as always, we'll wrap it up with if I give it a thumbs up or maybe a thumbs down for a planner that I believe will really, really support you, again, as we work towards achieving work-life harmony. First, let's cover who is this planner designed for? Well, I will tell you, when the box arrived and I unpackaged this planner, it was absolutely beautiful. It was a treat to receive. There's something just beautiful about opening something up and seeing this. It actually comes with its own magnetic bookmark here, which I loved. Now, when you go and look at their website, it is clear that this planner really is marketed towards women. And when you see Hustle Sanely and the fact that it says Peacefully Productive Planner, it really is marketing towards women that have a desire to get a lot of stuff done, right? Be externally looking productive, but without the hustle, without the grind, and without the burnout, which I think a lot of women today are done with that, and we are looking for options there. One thing I always like to cover is, does this planner have size and or layout options? So it looks as though currently there are two key planners. Now, there are other journals and things like that this company offers, but there are two key planners available. One is a comprehensive 2025 weekly planner. And then the one that they sent me, the one that's called Peacefully Productive Planner, is actually a quarterly undated planner. And you're going to see what that looks like as we dive into the deep dive here as well. Let's see what comes with this planner. Now, when I first opened it up, I was a little bit confused because it's a little bit hard to see, but you'll see these first two tabs here are labeled, but then the next four are not. And I was kind of confused until I figured out why it was. And then the ones at the bottom are labeled. So at the beginning here, it has the first tab, the first section is called 5 Keys. All right. And we'll look at that here in a few minutes. Then the next section, the tab here is called This Year. All right. And so we get into some yearly work. And then when you dig into these next 4 blank tabs, when you open it up, you see this is the start of a quarter. So we have quarter 1, and then we jump into the second undated tab is month 1 in that quarter. So my assumption is, after kind of digging through here, this tab is like a quarterly overview. And then the next 3 tabs are the 3 months in that quarter. And again, because this is undated, I can see why they've left the tabs blank. So you could just grab a Sharpie and you could, maybe write down Q1 and then January, February, March. But because it's undated, it gives you the flexibility to decide what 3-month period you want this for. Next, this tab down here says Notes. And then one of the things that I love with this planner is it has this blank tab right here, and they actually give you instructions letting you know, so many people always have something that they want to add into their planner, and we want to give them flexibility to do it. So the intent is you can make this tab whatever you want, and then there's pocket page in the back. Now, they do come with stickers. So, I mentioned you could use a Sharpie if you wanted to, or again, you can use the stickers that they've provided for you for those tabs. Let's go ahead and dive into the first section here, which was labeled 5 Keys. Now, one of the things that I love about this planner is it actually has an underlying planning system, right? I talk openly about the fact a planner alone is never going to make you organized. It's not going to keep you in control of your life unless you have a foundational planning system that supports it, right? You need to have the repeated processes and you need to know how to use your planner, or else it's just going to kind of either not get used, join the planner graveyard, or it just becomes a glorified place to make task lists and notes. In this first part, the 5 keys, they list out their 5 keys to hustling sanely. It says, number 1, get your mindset right. Number 2, get clear on your vision. Number 3, define your priorities. Number 4, create your routines and schedule. And then 5, implement Hustle Sanely 5, which is trademarked, every single day. All right. Now, when we look at the Hustle Sanely 5, this is what they're saying needs to be done every day. Number 1, complete your focus 3. Number 2, move for 30 minutes. Number 3, tidy for 15 minutes. Number 4, say or do one kind thing for yourself. Number 5, say or do one kind thing for someone else. Again, any planner that has built in a foundational system with it means they've put a lot of thought into it. And I love that. However, I personally don't agree with these top 5. I will talk a little bit here about the complete focus 3. In my planning system and my approach to planning, this is just something I've spent a lot of time trying to dig into. Where does this identify your top 3 come from? So many planners and productivity people out there are like, you got to identify your top 3. I have yet to find the brain science, anything behind this. Someone said it once and everyone jumped on it. Friends, I want to give you permission to understand sometimes we have days in our lives where we're not working on the top 3 for the day, right? We all have them. We have days that are full with lots of medium level stuff, or the day where you're playing chauffeur to your kids all day long. So I always just, I don't want to, I feel like that creates a lot of undue stress. And I just want to call out the tidy for 15 minutes. I've never seen a planner geared towards men that's telling them to tidy for 15 minutes. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. All right. So then we come into their Hustle Sanely habit, which is a yearly vision meeting, quarterly check-in, monthly check-ins, weekly preps, then your habits, your routines, and then a wind down and a daily planning meeting. I love this breakdown. This actually follows my entire top framework and planning system as well, where I teach a yearly planning, a quarterly, a monthly, and a weekly. So the fact that they've even got this listed out and they're showing how they all feed into each other is fantastic. So the rest of this section here of the top 5 is really working through and kind of training on this. They have a section teaching you how to break down a goal. Again, fantastic. So many people are not clear on how to do that. And then they have a section on creating routines and schedules. And then they're really breaking down that Hustle Sanely 5 with moving, tidying, doing kind things, etc. They also include a sample of what creating a perfect week might look like. I always have mixed feelings about that. If you live a lifestyle that supports a perfect week, or if it's something that your brain and mentality likes that, meaning you are always trying to kind of follow the same pattern week over week, it's great. However, it's very rare for me now that I meet women that are like, yes, my life supports that perfect week schedule because there is so much uncertainty. So again, I like that they're introducing this, but I always say, tread with caution because trying to implement a perfect week is not something that a lot of women can do. So that's kind of their beginning sections here, is really introducing you to what their planning system is. Let's go ahead and dive into the next section in the planner, which says this year. So this is the yearly area. So it starts off with identifying kind of what some key tasks are for each month in the year. And then they have what they call year at a glance, which is exactly what I have in my planner as well. I love a place where you can open up a spread and you're covering the big things going on for the year. So it's, I'm going to give a huge thumbs up to that because it's something I create and use as well. All right, so that's kind of getting you prepped for the year. Now we jump into the first undated tab, which is the quarterly prep. All right, so this is their quarterly check-in. And essentially, this is where you're doing your high-level quarterly planning. So they have areas to be talking about your personal well-being, relationships, physical health, finances, vacation, things like that. I love quarterly planning, but I don't like when we are being forced into creating a vision into predefined buckets, right? Like I would struggle to fill in some of these because that may not be an area that I'm creating specific goals around. So I would just say, use it as a guideline. Then they have an area for defining priorities for your quarter, and then what routines you're going to be building out, and whether they're daily, weekly, monthly, and actually listing out any new routines that you want to implement for the quarter. And then they have what's called a quarterly check-in meeting. And then they have a space for you to build what your perfect weekly schedule is going to be for the quarter. Again, I think that's going to be very restrictive for a lot of folks, especially if you have a very, very fluid life. So now we're ready to dive into the monthly sections. All right, at the start of each monthly section, you have your month at a view. A traditional, these are pretty much the same in every planner that you find. Now, the way they have this planner structured is this. So they have a week at a glance. So they've got a little box for every day for that week. So you'd be coming in and writing what month it is and then what the days, the dates are for that week. I love an undated planner. It keeps things very flexible. But then it moves into a style planner where it's 1 page per day. So you're getting your week at a glance, but again, this is just going to be more almost like a space for task list, right? And then every day has this layout. So let's zoom in on what this is. So at the top, it has space for your focus 3 for the day. I've already mentioned on that. A place to just put other tasks. Then down at the bottom, a place for you to check off your Hustle Sanely 5. Check off complete focus 3. Check off move for 30 minutes, check off tidy for 15 minutes, check off kind thing for myself, check off kind thing for someone else, area for more notes and reminders, a space to say what you're grateful for and today I want to feel. And then it runs from 5 a.m. down to 10 p.m. in 30-minute increments. So, at the heart of everything I teach with planning is to get away from daily planners and to move into weekly planning. So this is going to keep you very focused on a 24-hour window, and having at the start of the week, just having these boxes, I would feel like I would be flipping back and forth to really understand how much time is spoken for this week. Now, if you're someone that is operating from creating a perfect weekly schedule, and you are rinse and repeating those kind of time blocks week over week, this is a very pretty planner, but I don't agree with the Hustle Sanely 5 and the Focus 3 part of that. So over the rest of this section here is, again, it follows the same pattern for each of the 3 months in that quarter. So it's just a rinse and repeat of, the month at a view, then we do our week at a view, and then it turns into daily pages. Now, at the back, there is a notes section here. So it just has a bunch of line pages for note taking. And then we already touched on the really nice pocket page that you can use however you see fit. So let's kind of talk through pros, cons, who I think this planner might be a great fit for. If you are someone that is new to planning, I think you would find this planner a bit overwhelming. However, if you are someone that is been working on your planning practices for a while, and you are in a stage of life where things are pretty consistent, meaning you kind of have a lot of the same routines week over week. You are always working from 10 to 3, and then you're always doing this from 3 to 6. And, this might work for you. However, I would caution anyone that has a very fluid lifestyle, that has lots of change and needs a place that quickly tells them, how much time do I have available this week? This planner, and quite frankly, any daily format planner, is not going to serve you very well, because there isn't one clear view that shows you, if it's Monday and someone's asking you about Friday, you're going to be flipping through to look to Friday to figure out what's going on Friday. And you're not going to see comprehensively, how booked am I this week? It's missing that key component, which is why I'm so passionate about weekly planners. The other thing I was a little confused about on how this would work is because this is a quarterly planner, it has the this year part at the front covering your whole year. But in order to plan for your whole year, you would need to buy 4 of these in order to get all 12 months. So as I was done with quarter 1, I'm assuming I would have to recopy everything about the year into the next one. Because this is coil bound, I would not be able to take out my yearly pages and put them into the next quarterly one. So it would be a little confusing on how you're doing longer term high level planning. Again, which is why I prefer planners that are, if they're coil bound, that give you 12 months, or a binder style planner where you can constantly be adding the pages to it that you need. I think for someone who is juggling children and work, having to manage 4 planners at once would be absolute chaos. I would not know which one to look in to grab my information for the year. So again, I want to give a huge thumbs up to it's very thoughtful. It comes with a system. It is beautiful, but it is not ultimately not a planner that I would recommend for a woman that is truly looking to simplify and use a planner for what a planner should be, which is telling them what they're doing and when they're doing it, and can easily check their balance in time.